guys. Welcome back to another week of Evolve. I am your host, Monette Brann-Natta, and I'm so happy to have you here sharing energy with me today. Before we get started, I want to give a great big thank you to the community here in Florida who came out and supported the art show that I had this weekend. A lot of you guys that listened to the show were there, so it was really great to meet some listeners. It was really fantastic to interact and have you come share some energy and raise your vibration with all of the wonderful vendors that were at my show and all of the art. A lot of you guys took home art and took home pieces. So for that, a great big heartfelt thank you. I so appreciate that. It's wonderful to have a dream come to fruition and to work hard on it and then to be really supported and celebrated. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just wanted to sprinkle a little love on you guys for that. This week, a lot of things are happening. So we've concluded that, and we were celebrating yesterday the birthday of Dr. Maya Angelou. And Maya Angelou is someone that is incredibly near and dear to my heart. So I want to wish her a happy birthday. She is no longer with us, but the impact she left will be lasting. In my life, it felt that Maya had a hand in raising me. I was reading her books from a very early age, books that were deep and heavy in subject matter, but I was reading them. And Maya was always lifting my spirits, raising my vibration, and elevating my mindset. I thought of her as her birthday rolled around on the steps at the inauguration for President Bill Clinton as she read her now iconic poem on the pulse of morning. What I loved about that is she was the second poet ever to be asked to read a poem at the inauguration. She was the first African-American woman to ever be asked. Maya, to me, represented a Renaissance woman, which is actually the inspiration for my show, Maya Angelou, because she taught me that you can be and do all things. There are no limitations on you placed there by life, period, whatever limitations you may have. And she taught me that you can push and strive to be a Renaissance woman, a Renaissance person who inhabits many areas of culture. And she did that. One of the things that struck out to me is the way Maya ended her poem. She ended it by talking about having a good morning. She ended it by saying good morning in her poem. And it felt like a new day was really dawning. Now, good morning is a very special thing to me. I know it just seems like a phrase we utter to each other. But my mother, when I was a child, would sing to me, and still to this day, if she knows I have something coming up, like the art show, she'll call me with a greeting and a song that's very lively. And the words say, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're feeling fine. Get out of bed, you sleepyhead. It's time to take the day. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to go and play. And even though I am whatever age I am, my mother will still say that to me and sing it to me, and it brings me great joy. So when Maya ended her poem, good morning, I thought, how inspiring, how uplifting. I remember being 13 years old and watching that and thinking, I want to be her when I grow up. Now, don't we all want to be Maya when we grow up? I don't know that anybody can be. I've learned as I've gotten older, we all can only be who we are. Maya did a really good job at being Maya, but man, was she inspiring to me. And so what I wanted to do was something I wouldn't normally do. You know, I write for Connect 10, a magazine that I'm a part of, and there's a lot of fantastic articles. But this month, I dedicated my time in that paper to Maya. I wanted to celebrate her life and talk about what her life meant to me. And so what I'm going to do is something I wouldn't normally do, which is go through and read that poem as a dedication and a tribute and my birthday gift to Dr. Angelou. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman. Phenomenal, phenomenal woman. That's me, Maya Angelou. As I was preparing to submit this article, a string of miraculous occurrences began to happen. Loved ones who knew not of the article's existence began to post snippets of the above poem on my social media page. My sister, having seen that message, then left her own recollection of me performing the above poem in our 7th grade class, an event which I had completely forgotten about. Then one evening, my significant other was flipping through the channels and stumbled upon a PBS documentary about Dr. Angelou's extraordinary life. I sat transfixed for an hour, poring over the details in the life of a woman whom I once thought myself to be well acquainted with. I didn't know her because we shared conversations over lavish dinners like she had with Langston Hughes, Dr. Martin Luther King, James Baldwin, and Oprah. In fact, I'd only really met her once in my life at a regional Girl Scout tea that she had spoken at in South Florida when I was a child. I remember my excitement as I circled her table to ask her a question. I've been working at my nerve for this. I imagined that my intellect would radiate through my very being and that Maya would say, "Come, sit, child, for I recognize your spirit." But alas, that was not to be. Instead, I nervously approached and stuttered out some question about her writing process. She hastily acknowledged my presence and then shooed me away so that she could finish her tea in peace. She had just spoken for 2 hours after all. It was hardly the moment that I had dreamt of, but it was evidence of my own manifestation at work. You see, when I was 7 or 8, my mother put a book in my hands that changed my life. It was Maya Angelou's autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. The subject matter was heavy, but I understood. I knew growing up that I was different. I did not look like anyone around me. Sure, there were other African Americans in my town, but not many. And of course, I had my family as a reference, but I always just felt left of center. I was too loud. I was too observant and too opinionated. Too many things stuffed into a too tall and large frame. And in Maya, I saw a mirror image of myself, a woman to my girl who loved books and was creative and was about 6 foot tall. Her nose looked like as though God himself had taken his index finger and pressed it down in the center so that it was wide and flat like mine. But her words, those words that poured out of her, were powerful and a delicious elixir to my soul. They washed over me and woke me up. In her poem, Phenomenal Woman, Maya explained to us that though she is no classic beauty, that she was still magical. Today, that phrase is being bandied about, the term black girl magic. And while I shall not address the polarizing opinions of it, I will let you know that I understood without a lesson in the colloquialisms of the day that black girl magic was precisely what Maya was teaching me about. I have never been built to suit a fashion model size, but I have modeled my life daily after Dr. Angelou's pioneering spirit and integrity. And I am now comfortable in my skin. I know that I am indeed a phenomenal woman, and this is a result of my daring to capture in words the essence, power, beauty, and grace of a phenomenal woman. I finally understand what she referred to in the last stanza of her poem that used to fly over my head when I was a child. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need for my care. Because I am a woman, a phenomenally phenomenal woman. That's me. Thank you, Maya, for being a class act. Thank you for the millions of words you left us with as a comprehensive guide to living full out. Thank you for gathering me in my scattered youth and requiring that I stand tall and always rise. To you, I shall never say goodbye, but always and only good morning. And if you are interested, guys, in reading about the recipe that I chose a really hearty soup, but you can go and check that out on my social media pages and check out this issue of Connect 10. Lots of other great articles in there. But that was my tribute, which you can find in full in Connect 10 this month in the April issue. Maya spoke to me about transition. There were many transitions in Maya's life that were difficult. And that got me thinking about transition. And what I wanted to say to you guys last week as I was preparing for the show. Transition. How we move from one stage to another. And I know you guys must think, how do all these amazing things happen? They do. Because when you're in alignment and in vibration, you really are picking up on what's happening around you in the universe. Well, as I'm sitting down to the computer to write this up last week and start to really flesh out my ideas, feel something crawling on me. Not a great experience. Anybody that knows, I thought, oh, maybe it's my hair and maybe it's whatever. And I'm like, no. And I reach behind me. It was on my back, on my shoulder kind of. And I reach behind me and I pull what I think is my hair. And in my hand is a ladybug. Now I just come from outside and didn't think anything about it. It is spring. Everything's in bloom, pollen, all that jazz. But it was a little ladybug. And you know me, I looked it up because I do believe in animal totems. And so I thought, what is this little ladybug trying to tell me? And this is what it was trying to tell me as I was sitting down to write about transition. It's absolutely about complete transformation. It's about your dreams and your wishes being granted. And like butterflies, ladybugs undergo what is called complete transformation. This means that the ladybugs have a pupa stage during which they completely transform from crawling larvae to drastically different form, the winged beetle. And so when you're dealing like with a butterfly in that pupa stage, they're in a cocoon. Ladybugs undergo an open attachment to a leaf. So the ladybug spirit animal shows you that the last big step of your transformation will result in a quantum leap from one way of being to a brand new one. You will have a gap or quiet inactive time when the shift is happening in you, but others will be able to see it taking place. I thought that was really interesting because I have definitely been going through transition, and I find it no coincidence to sit down and write about the transitions of Maya. That was my intention. And then my angels bring me another message that ties in. We go through transition and we have our idea about transition. Now, one of the things about transition is incubation. You heard just now, I read from the Ladybug totem, it said, you will have a period of quiet inactivity that it appears where nothing is happening. It appears that you're not moving. It appears that you're stagnant. It appears that life is mundane and going on as it does. And no movement's happening in you. That is a false appearance. Everyone around you can see it happening. Everyone around you will be commenting about it happening, and you'll be thinking, yeah, things are happening. It's going okay. It's doing okay. That's one of the things I want to bring to your awareness when you are in transition, because incubation is very important in order to really hold a dream. Think about the gestation period of a baby. Before it is ready to be acclimated to our world, that baby spends 9 months inside of its mother developing the skill sets that it will need to survive. But in the transition, what happens when that baby comes out? That baby arrives and it is in tears because it is adjusting to a new world, and it is adjusting to new atmosphere, and it is adjusting to a new way of survival that is not dependent on being cloistered in the womb or the home of the mother. When we are in transition, there will be weeping. And someone said to me recently that we'd done a show and the commentary back was about your dreams. How bad do you want it? And she said, I've never heard the reality side of that. I've always heard these really lovely law of manifestation, law of attraction kind of things. And that is what I specialize in, is reality. I really do. I believe you manifest and create your own, but I like to be honest with you guys and be honest with myself. There is weeping in transition. And I don't want to be sad every time and say everything is the worst, but I want to set up realistic expectations so that you succeed and that you don't fail because you don't feel this lofty vibration that you're floating away. Sometimes that happens. But here's the thing about transition. They're challenging, and often we resist them and we complain and we become irritable and we might cry like babies. And we do this because we have the